So when it comes to getting leads, the question's always, what's the best strategy? Right. And there's a lot of different strategies out there. There's a lot of people pushing different methods. I'm just going to go over some of the top methods that I've seen that can be highly effective and go over the top really 1 to 3 methods that we use to generate leads for our agency. So really there's kind of 5 areas that I would look at as far as lead generation goes. And there's obviously different variants of each one, but there's content marketing, email marketing, SEO, social media marketing, and paid ads. Content marketing is really ambiguous. It can involve blogging, it can involve video creation, it can involve infographics, podcasting, webinars, ebooks, white papers, pretty much any piece of content that you can create that gets disseminated somewhere online, that's technically content marketing. And the key that I've seen in content marketing is to not make the sales pitch overt. In fact, you want to have almost really no sales pitch when it comes down to it. And I don't mean that you should obviously not have a call to action. You need to have a call to action within that content to encourage people to take that next step and enter your funnel. But you don't want to have the content become dominated with affiliate links or over the top calls to action. You want to have it be helpful to users ultimately. So if it's a blog post, it needs to be something that's going to provide value to your audience. If it's a video, you need to be able to walk people through a process, show them how to do something, explain something to them that they might not be aware of. An infographic really should be intended to provide more of a visual representation of information, whether that's statistics that are useful, whether that's just illustrating the process that you're explaining in a video or a blog. You need to make sure that you're providing value to people first, and the sales part kind of comes further down the line. It's not really about, push, 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 trying to get that initial sale. It's really about the back end when it comes to lead gen. That's really what I've seen as being the most successful route to go when it comes to content creation. You want to create content that's really helpful for users, provides a lot of value, and at the end, include a call to action and try to engage with them in the future, of course, but don't have the content be dominated by that is really the key that I've seen. Also, optimizing your website is super important too. This is something I think a lot of us tend to neglect, especially people like us who are in the service business. We're always working on client websites and we forget to work on our own website. But optimizing your website for lead gen is super important, especially once you start to get content ranking. For example, we have this post, and yes, our web design's terrible, but we're an SEO agency, so we deserve a little slack there. Essentially, we're ranking towards the top for SEO prices in New Zealand. We kind of gloss over some potential pricing in this post, but you'll see that we have a very prominent call to action that's highlighted here in a different color, so it kind of stands out. So if a user's on mobile or desktop, they'll see it pretty quickly. It's just slightly beneath the fold. And there's obviously much better call to actions out there with very pretty visuals and graphics and forms and that kind of thing. But the idea is once you get content ranking on your website, you want to then pursue that next step, which is including call to actions, making sure that you're giving people an opportunity to enter your funnel, to book into your calendar, all that sort of thing. So content can be really powerful for that, especially SEO content from what we found. So you can do that by optimizing your pages, obviously. But you can also do that even within paid advertising, right? If you have a paid ad and it's going to a landing page, you want to make sure that landing page has call to actions, even more so than maybe an organically ranking page, right? Because an ad is all about getting people to take that action right away. So just making sure that you're mindful of that without overloading people with calls to action. It's sort of striking that balance, like I was saying. And then there's social media lead generation. I know a lot of people who are killing it with Facebook ads and meta ads overall, Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn ads can be useful for a lot of B2B sales. Also, not just the LinkedIn ads portion, but also just reaching out to people using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It gives you a certain quota of messages each month that you can use to, reach out to business owners on there. And that can be a super useful way to just contact people as yourself, right? Because it's your face, it's a social media platform. It shows who you are, what you do. And a lot of times when people can put a face to the name like that very quickly, they're going to be much more likely to want to pursue your services or at least have a further conversation about what you do. The next one is kind of something that we've been using a lot, and this is, email marketing. Email marketing comes in a lot of different forms. I think for this sort of purpose of lead gen, I'm talking more about kind of the cold email aspect where you compile a list of qualified prospects and you essentially send out a number of emails reaching out to those people. And, it's a numbers game, very much so when it comes to cold email. But if you can personalize your messages well enough and make them sound not robotic, and not chat GPT, I just don't use chat GPT. I've had really bad success with that in cold emails. But if you can make them sound unique and you provide value, it's all about providing value when it comes to this stuff. A lot of people will cold email and say, oh, it's just spam, it's whatever. But it's like, if you're providing somebody a valuable service that they could really use, then it's honestly that's not a bad thing. So you have to look at it from that positive lens of you're providing a valuable service to these qualified leads. Really the spam comes in if you're just scraping tens of thousands of leads from random sources and you're not doing any sort of verification of their emails. And that's only going to hurt you as well because it's going to cause your emails to bounce or go to spam folders and ultimately not reach the people you want to reach. The other part to email marketing is compiling the email list. So building an email list kind of ties into the other areas we just talked about, like content marketing and social media. If you can get users through the door with a really good blog post, or maybe they found your podcast or webinar or something like that, you collect their email information from that, and then you can start to email them in perpetuity. So you can send out newsletters weekly or daily. You can send out product updates, company news, really anything that's relevant to what you do or your industry. And with that, again, you want to provide value. I would say out of every 10 emails, the vast majority of them should be purely value driven. There shouldn't be too much selling going on. Now, obviously, that could differ if you're an e-commerce brand or it's a certain time of year, like around the holidays, then obviously you're going to be a little more aggressive when it comes to the sales part. But always, always, always lead with the value. I can't stress that enough. If you can provide value in those emails, inspire people, give them information to help them. If you provide something in the healthcare niche where you're really literally impacting people's lives and health, you can build communities on that. You can have people connect with each other through Facebook groups and things like that, as well as your emails. Email marketing is a great tool for remarketing. It helps warm up your audience. If you're sending emails out regularly, they're going to get more and more into your brand and interested. And ultimately, it'll lead to a much larger lifetime value for your brand. So these are kind of the two areas that we do. So cold email is one of our main lead gen sources. SEO and organic is probably the second. Like I said, doing SEO on your website is important, and that's kind of our bread and butter. But again, we're guilty, just like everyone else, of doing a lot of work for clients, and sometimes you slip on your own site, and that's totally normal. SEO is very powerful because once you start ranking, you're there. It's not like with paid ads where you pay for an ad and you're going to show up on page one right away, but then the second you stop paying, you're gone. With SEO, it's an investment up front. It takes time, but then you start to rank and you start to naturally show up in those places and get natural clicks and customer interactions on your site. So that can be a powerful lead gen tool as well. But it really comes down to preference with all of these. Every business is different. And my best piece of advice that I've learned through this marketing process that I've been at for 10 plus years now is stick with one thing, get good at the one thing, and then start to branch out and diversify. So if you feel like your expertise is social media marketing, do social media marketing. And then once you feel like you've reached kind of that point of, maybe not capacity, but you've done as much as you can within social media marketing as far as lead gen goes, or you have a good system down, then you start to hire out and you say, okay, where can I find a cold email strategist or an SEO strategist or someone who can kind of help me venture into these other channels, and ultimately grow my lead list in other ways. But you don't want to be the one that have to be the expert in all those areas. You want to focus on that one thing, that kind of bread and butter skill set that you have and that you've grown, and leave the rest to your team and to other people. Before we go, I just want to show a couple locations where we do scrape leads pretty often, and these are pretty good resources for us. The first one is called Outscraper. So Outscraper we actually got this on AppSumo, so it was a really good deal. But basically, you can type in whatever business category you're pursuing, and it's really good for local sites as well. It's like, say you're going for plumbers or doctors, whatever the case may be, you enter your category there. and you can type in your locations here, and you can go by cities, by if you're in the US, you can go by states, that sort of thing. And then you can also scrape for emails. You can verify emails. You can gather company information. Is really good for personalization. I've found, and the cool thing is you can scrape not just Google Maps. Right now we're set on Google Maps, but you can go in and you can scrape basically anything. You can scrape uh, Apple. So if you're doing something with private sellers or e-commerce type brands, you can scrape Apple products. You can go through even eBay or Expedia, Facebook pages. Like if you're trying to do social media marketing and you're looking for someone who has a Facebook page but they don't have many reviews or it's not really optimized or whatever, you can go through and search that way. And this is a great platform that goes in tandem with our cold email. So we can scrape very large lists of well qualified leads, and we can send out cold email campaigns within the same day. So it's really a useful way to build that list, like I was saying. Another great tool is Apollo. So this is primarily a B2B lead gen platform. You can scrape lists of, yeah, like I said, just about any B2B type of business. But the nice thing is you can also scrape by different criteria as far as the personal emails go. So you can scrape, let's say you're doing like we have some commercial cleaning clients. Let's say that we're pursuing you know essentially buildings to book those commercial cleaning jobs. Typically, you'd go through and you would target operations managers, ops managers, building managers, those kind of roles. And you can literally set it by role within Apollo, and it's going to scrape all of those specific people within whatever geo that you're doing. So this is a really good tool, and it goes well in tandem with this tool, which is exportapollo.com, where essentially you can accrue your lead list through here and then take the link and put it in here, and you're going to be able to scrape all those leads within a matter of minutes with all those company details that you need. It's really affordable and really useful for B2B stuff. The other thing too is there's a lot of CRM tools out there. I think one of the better ones is High Level. We've been a fan of this one. We've kind of used it on and off, to be honest. We've tested some other tools, but I think we might end up going back with High Level, honestly. But High Level is a great tool for kind of organizing those leads and creating follow-up sequences and just organizing everything a little better in your CRM. It's easier, in my opinion, than Google Sheets. We were doing Google Sheets for a while, which is kind of the caveman way to go about it for a CRM. And sort of the honorable mention option that I'm going to include is Upwork. So a lot of people would think, well, Upwork is a freelancer platform, right? It's for, low paying jobs. It's really to find VAs and things like that. That's really not the case. Upwork is actually a really cool tool for lead generation. And the beauty of it is you can create an agency account on here or a freelancer account and kind of use them in tandem. But you can find a lot of warm leads because people go on here and they post job listings, B2B type positions, but they could be looking for an SEO specialist to help them rank their website, or a paid ads person, or a social media marketer. And you can find, like I said, really warm leads this way. It's not like cold email where you're reaching out to people that really, a lot of the time, honestly, are not looking for you. With Upwork, everyone on here signs up, everyone's vetted, and you can see their company reviews as well. From past freelancers that they've hired and that kind of thing. So we've used this a bunch, and honestly, this has helped us grow tremendously for a variety of different things, from you know clients, from booking jobs with clients, to also hiring and kind of building out our team. So Upwork is a great option. I'd highly recommend it for lead gen. And, we've been at it probably 10 plus years. It's been great. I don't think it's going anywhere. And they've added a lot to it that makes it even better. You can bid on certain jobs now. You can, if there's a job that you feel like is right in your wheelhouse and you don't want to, and you feel like you'd be the best candidate for it, you can bid extra. They call it connects, which is like their currency. You can bid extra connects on it for a little more money. But yeah, it's really a useful thing, and I think the cost per lead is still pretty good, even when you're bidding connects, because it might cost you, $5 or $10 to buy a bunch of connects to bid, but then if you land the job, that's going to more than pay for that. So the kind of return on investment in that regard is really good. But yeah, those are the top methods that I've seen in, what is it, August of 2024. I don't think any of those are really going anywhere. Things are always evolving and changing, especially with social media and SEO. Really, SEO is changing a lot too. But I still think the fundamentals of all of those lead gen methods are there, and you can be successful with any of them. You just have to pick one, pursue it, go as deep as you can into it, and then fill out the rest with people who are specialized in those other areas. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you want to, subscribe, and we're going to be making more content. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, have a good one.